Hey YouTube, Mark Hoffman here, and today I want to talk about two buck knives that you probably have not seen. Now, when we think of buck, we think of lockbacks, we think of the Buck 110, we think of hunting knives, fixed blades, but we really don't think about them as a slip joint knife maker. And I want to show you the Buck 704, which is a single-bladed slip joint knife by Buck. This knife here was made in the 90s. And then I also want to talk about the Buck 703 Stockman, which is going to be the three-bladed counterpart to the 701. And these knives were produced in the 1990s. One of these was actually a safety award, so it's a pretty nice award. But these knives are not only hard to find, especially the 701, but they are discontinued. Buck does not make these anymore. And these knives here, I think, are both knives that I would love to see back in Buck's production line and back to being offered for sale, especially in maybe a more premium steel. If they could do this in a 154 cm steel with like carbon fiber or G10, something like that, stainless steel bolsters, that would be incredible, especially for the single blade. Imagine this small little knife in S30V with the Paul Boss heat treatment and then G10 handles and stainless steel bolsters. I think it'd be a knockout. But both of these here are relatively hard to find. I've never seen the 701 until I actually saw it on eBay and just picked it up. And I said to myself, you know what? I don't think I should pass this one up. So this is a single-bladed knife, and it really does look kind of like a miniature Buck 110. I mean, it has kind of that blade shape. It has that handle shape, but it's a slip joint. Now, both of these knives are about the same size. And let me get a very familiar knife in the mix here. This is a 91 millimeter Victorinox. Then we have the Sencut Citus here. And then as another comparison, let me get another knife out here. Give me 1 second. We have the Kershaw Blur. I'll pull the Citus out of there. Have the Kershaw Blur. And just for fun, I will also throw in the CJRB Malia. So these knives are relatively compact. They are something that I would call a pocket dropper. You can just throw them in the bottom of your pocket or in the back pocket, and they will happily help you throughout the day to take care of any cutting task you may encounter. Now, both of these have the 420 steel blades, but they are not marked Paul Boss on them. I don't think Buck was doing the Paul Boss heat treat back in the 90s. So this is just standard run-of-the-mill 420 steel. I have to say it's good. I mean, these strop up very easily, but they go dull pretty quick. I've been using both of these all week, and I've already had to sharpen them up, but they weren't really sharp to begin with. They both had their original edges, and all I did was strop them up. Now, when I received both of these were in pretty rough shape. I have done some polishing to the bolsters. I did actually peen this pin a little tighter because this main blade was really loose. Now there's no blade wobble at all. It's very tight, and it has a wonderful walk and talk to it on all three of these blades. Now, this one here in particular is very unique because most Stockman knives have two springs, okay? And two of those blades act on two springs, and then one has its own spring. But Buck actually gave each blade its own spring. There are 3 springs on this knife. Each blade has its own independent spring, which is very unique, but also allows this to have a very strong detent. I mean, it's a very strong lock on it. I wouldn't even call it a lock because it's a slip joint, but you know what I mean. It's not going to close on you very easily. And I'd have to say this is almost up there with your Victorinox knives back springs. It is very, very robust. Now, I have to be frank with you, the 704, man, that grease was completely messing with me. And this is the 704 and this is the 703. I'm so sorry about that. I'll get this right in the title. But the 704 has been my favorite. I mean, it's uber thin. It's very lightweight. It's very compact. And I find this more useful than the thicker Stockman from Buck. But I will say this, the Stockman here is very unique. This here has one of the more unique spay blades I've ever seen. It's very stubby, very short, and the sheep's foot blade is very robust and very wide. I really like that. It's a very usable blade. But I just wanted to show you guys these knives because there's something I've never seen. And I've already talked to a few guys that collect Buck, and they've all told me that, yeah, these are relatively hard to find. They're not impossible. But I will tell you this, people are asking about $100 to $45 for this. And I've never seen one of these. So I don't know how much people are asking for this one. So this is the 704, not 701, and the 703 from Buck. And I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these two knives. They're definitely something that is unique in my collection, and I don't think I'll ever be selling any of these anytime soon, unless I get a stupid offer. But till then, I will be keeping these in my collection. So till the next video, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.